Studios. How y'all doing? You know the Wake Up Call is on the road, Wake Up Call OTR, and on Friday I had the New York City skyline behind me as I was in another part of New York State, my home state, and now my home away from home state. I'm down in Florida, so the backdrop today is beaches, blue skies, and palm trees, baby, because we are live from the Lando Lagoon, and I am so excited to be down here in the great state of Florida. Just covered the Jacksonville Jaguars, Houston Texans game. Got a lot of great stuff coming up here today. We're going to have a shorter show today because as the president and CEO and the voice of Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, I have pulled quadruple duty over the last couple days, and I do what I love. I love what I do. I have had the opportunity to bring you Super Powered Pop from New York Comic Con, which also goes hand in hand with Comic Book Trails from New York Comic Con, and came down here to do Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, obviously with the Jaguars coverage and with this morning's broadcast. And then I'm going to be going to Disney to do Diz with Dan. So do Diz with Dan. That's do D-I-Z with Dan. It used to be called Dan on Disney. Now it's do Diz with Dan. So you can check that out. I'm going to be on site on location at Walt Disney World having some fun. And kind of in a very, God always does this to me, ironic, bring it all together. The first panel that I went to at New York Comic Con was about Disney parks. And the first thing they talked about when I went in was Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind ride. Rewind to the present, I'm going on the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind ride, God willing, this morning after the show. So, pretty insane how I start New York Comic Con with that, and then days later, I'm down in Florida, do Diz with Dan, having that, and amidst all of this, having Super Powered Pop, Comic Book Trails, and Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So, a lot of great stuff, a lot to be thankful for, a lot to hang out with you and talk with you about this morning. We're going to have a great broadcast this AM, and we're going to spend the first part of this broadcast, and William said, I need some of that beach life. Yeah, man, come down. Listen, you're always welcome in the great state of Florida. They got beaches all over. Clearwater, St. Pete's, which is my favorite beach, and Jacksonville Beach is actually really, really nice. And I had never been to the beach in Jacksonville until a few years ago, and it was beautiful. So find your way out here and definitely enjoy this Floridian weather and all the good that it brings. There's a lot of great stuff about Florida. So make sure you make your way out here to the great state of Florida, my second home. We got two things we're going to talk about. Speaking of second, we have two things we're going to be discussing this morning. First and foremost, we're going to get into Syracuse being ranked 18th in the nation. That's right, babes. When you don't play a game and you move up a bunch of spots. They moved up 4 spots in the Associated Press during their bye week and moved up 3 spots in the coaches poll. And definitely, we're going to be discussing, obviously, the Syracuse Orange. I asked you to give me your thoughts on the Syracuse Orange, where they currently are this season. So I'm going to be sharing a bunch of fan thoughts this morning from our Facebook. And so I'm excited to do that. If you haven't joined already, make sure you join our Facebook group, Syracuse Orange Empire. I'm one of the administrators to that. There's a bunch of administrators. I want to give a shout out to Corey and to Joe and to Joanne and thank everybody who has helped to build us to what we are today. So there's a lot of great stuff to discuss there and a fantastic group. So make sure you join the group on Facebook. Once again, it's Syracuse Orange Empire. There's many groups. That's the one that you need to become a part of. So make sure you do that today while you're listening to the show. So we're going to talk about Syracuse being 18th in the nation. We'll obviously be carrying a discussion about this as well as their upcoming game against top 18 team as well. NC State is ranked 15 in the AP and 13 in the coaches poll. So we will be discussing their upcoming matchup later on this week as we get set for this Saturday's matchup. Saturday that we're going to see this game. That's going to be Saturday, October 15th, coming off the bye week, as Syracuse will be hosting NC State. And I'm very much looking forward to that in the Dome. That game will kick off at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can be sure that Tortora and Elford will be there. My guy Isaac Elford, who is the other half of Tortora and Elford that we do inside of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So happy to bring a bunch of that to you. And of course, In the second part of today's broadcast, we're going to get back on the prowl with my Jacksonville Jaguars interviews. I was on site on location to cover the Jaguars' second home game of the season, just as I was the first. And these ones were, however, very different, as the Jaguars shut out the Colts in a divisional game, huge game. You know, every game is big, but the ones in your division, they mean a lot because whoever wins the division is automatically going to the playoffs. So they shut out the Colts and got their first win ever over Matt Ryan in their first game of the season, the first game at home of the season, I should say. And they won that game 24-0, defeated Matt Ryan for the first time in Matt's career in the NFL, and were able to take down and stay perfect against the head coach of the Colts, which is crazy. Frank Reich has never won as the head coach of the Colts in Jacksonville, so they kept that streak alive, which was really cool. And the Jaguars looked to be in good footing, right, until they just gave up the first win of the season to the Houston Texans and endured their first loss at home because of it. So we'll be talking with the Jaguars this morning on the prowl. That's why you see the Jaguar here in the corner. And so with that being said, we thank you for tuning in live every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on mixlr.com, facebook.com, and youtube.com, all /Wake Up Call DT. We also appreciate you being with us on facebook.com /LiveNowDT and on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do that today. That's once again youtube.com /wakeupcalldt. And if you haven't subscribed to our free website that has everything in one place, make sure you do that this morning. And that website is wakeupcalldt.com. So make sure you join us if you have not, and we appreciate everybody that has. And of course, thank you for being here this morning as we start off another beautiful week in the month of October, my birth month. So coming off this past weekend, God bless to her and my dog Shady in heaven, my little sister. Her birthday October 8th. So I got to celebrate Shady's birthday at New York Comic Con, which I know that she would appreciate because she was always about her big bro going and having fun and enjoying life and just making the most of it. So I miss you, Shady. And it's funny that on the day of her birth, I had the opportunity to meet Oscar Isaac, to get to see Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd reunited for Back to the Future, which literally has a direct connection to my birthday because they go to October 21st in the movie. And every time the movie has an anniversary, it's on October 21st, which is my birthday, which is insane. So many thanks for that. Much love for that. And it definitely means a lot to me. And so that's been really, really cool. And then I had the opportunity of meeting Anson Mount and Kristen Kruick. And I had an incredible time at New York Comic Con. So I want to thank God for that. And I didn't even think about it in the moment when it was happening, but all of those really, really, like, both days at Comic-Con were fantastic, but all of those really huge, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm experiencing these moments, those moments came on Shady's birthday anniversary. So, thanks, Shade. I know you're always looking out for your big brother. And I miss you. Incredibly. Miss picking you up and hugging you, little girl. So rest well in heaven, and I'll see you on that rainbow bridge, hopefully when I'm 100-something years old, but I love you very much. So, my big shout-out to my little sister, Shady. So, got to experience that, and here we are. It's October 10th. We're close to my birthday. We're 11 days away from my birthday, and I get to celebrate an early birthday gift by going to New York Comic Con and you know, by getting to see PJ and Mary T and Joey and the cat Marissa Tomei, who has taken to me again, which I'm very happy. She sat with me last night, and we got to watch a horrible Mets game, so that was interesting. And then had the opportunity to be around my cousin Nico, my little brother, and get to hang out with him in New York City and experience some New York City life. And he brought me to a great restaurant, a great place to get cookies out there. The churro cookie was insane at Cookies and Cream in Bronxville, New York. So shout out to them. But yeah, I mean, it's been an incredible experience, and I'm so happy to be living this life that I get to live. So with that being said, I want to get into some of your thoughts here on Syracuse ranked in the top 18 in the nation. So a bunch of you had some thoughts, and you wrote those thoughts in. So I'm going to read off those thoughts here this morning, and I thank you to everybody that's done it. You can go to Wake Up Call's page on Facebook. That's at Wake Up Call DT, and you can respond to it there. And you can also go and join Syracuse Orange Empire. Make sure to answer the questions, because if you don't answer the questions, we don't let anybody in that doesn't answer the very simple questions on the way in. So make sure you do that. And so either or, you can go to Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, and we'll actually do both. They're free. So join me there, and then join us on Syracuse Orange Empire, the private group on Facebook. So I looked at all of your comments, and I'm going to share those today. So Corey M. said to me, this is what I said: fill in the blank. My current thoughts on the 18th ranked Syracuse Orange football team, standing currently at 5-0, are blank. Corey M. said, keep winning. Very simple. Joel B. said, about to find out if they are the real deal now that they're playing a ranked NC State team. They haven't played a ranked team yet. Brendan C. said, extremely pleased with the start and can't wait for the finish. The quality of talent is bottom line better than in previous years. Sean Tucker, Garrett Williams, Michael Jones will all be drafted, and if they stay healthy, we can keep winning. Obviously, talking about running back Tucker, cornerback Garrett Williams, and linebacker Michael Jones. He said the bye week came at the perfect time, and if NC State's quarterback, who's Devin Leary, is out, I would put it at a pick'em game, is what we got from Brendan C. Mike D. said, ready to find out if they're contenders or just pretenders, hoping for contenders with a lot of oranges after that. John B. said, just be competitive and some wins will come. Go Cuse. Rob B. said, let's keep it going. Let's put it on the field and see what we are made of. Donald L. said, our defensive line is a little undersized in the middle after injuries. Yeah, but, Kevon Darton has done a good job. I want to give him credit where credit is due. And great to talk with the young man as well. Preferred walk-on, who's earned his way to a scholarship and earned his way to being in the rotation and is now a starter. So think about that. Preferred walk-on to a scholarship to in the rotation on D-line to a starter on the defensive line. And people say, well, he's only a starter because Terry Lockett got hurt. He's in the two deep, okay? When you're a preferred walk-on, if you get in the top 5 on the depth chart, you know what I mean? I think people don't expect a lot. And he made it to the two deep and got in rotation and was utilized and had playing time before Terry Lockett got hurt, which speaks to his work ethic. And I want to shout out Kevon Darton and give him love where love is due. So God bless you, brother. Keep rocking and rolling and keep doing big things, man. We believe in you. I believe in you. Ken S. said, facing biggest test this weekend. Agreed. So far. Robert T. said, let's go. And Joseph VH has Otto dancing in the dome. So that was his. Joe S. said, let's beat NC State. I like that. Matt, and I respect NC State. Those of you that listen and watch the show religiously know that I'm a big fan of Dave Doran. Matt S. said, keep climbing, starting with winning this Saturday. Jim H. said, I've been saying all summer this team is better than it shows on paper. We're about to find out. Amen. John C. said, buckle up, boys. It's going to be a hell of a ride the rest of the way. Well, they're ready to buckle up, I'll tell you that much. Kathy C. said, let's see if the recognition is warranted. Then said, I think this group of young men are committed to one another and having an outstanding season. Go Orange. And Terry quoted Kathy and said, quote, recognition is warranted, Syracuse fan. And what I think he's playing on here, Terry, and I agree with it, is Syracuse fans, okay, there's a difference between a Syracuse fan and a fanatic. A fan is with you every day. A fanatic is a person who's mad at the world and takes it out on the Syracuse football team. I have not, the thing that's really sad is, and not many, it's a very small, tiny group. Chris Heidel saying what happened to the Mets last night. The Padres happened to the Mets last night, brother. So, but taking a look at this Syracuse fan versus fanatic ridiculousness, is that a fan is going to support the team. You could be frustrated, right? I'm not asking you to be rose-colored glasses. You could be frustrated. but a Syracuse fan is with you every step of the way. That's what any fan of any team, that's what fans do. Fans are with you always. Fanatics are people that have this very strange relationship with sports, and they say that they're a fan, but they're really not. They're just someone that's mad at the world and they need somebody to take it out on. And that's how I define a fanatic. Because these people out here that have been complaining, oh, Syracuse is ranked, but they're not really good. Oh, Garrett Schrader isn't a good quarterback, even though he threw a bunch of touchdowns. You know, people that find a negative to every positive, a problem to every solution, those are the people, folks, you should stay away from. So let's see if the recognition is warranted. Well, Kathy, I would respond to that comment that you made, and I'm not trying to witch hunt you or anything, I'm just using it as an example. But I would respond to that comment that you made and say recognition is warranted. They're 5-0, okay? Alabama is starting to play some teams right now, but they didn't have to play any ranked teams, and they were up there. Michigan doesn't have to play anybody that's ranked except for the ones that are overranked in their conference, and they stay in the top 4, top 3, top 10. Same thing with Ohio State. Same thing with Michigan State. You know, teams like that. Notre Dame doesn't have to play anybody to be ranked in the top 25 at the beginning of every year. So recognition is warranted. They're 5-0. They've done what they've had to do. They beat the teams in front of them. And be happy about it. Why be so negative? You know, it's like if Syracuse wasn't ranked, people would complain. And now that Syracuse is ranked, some people are complaining. So it's ridiculous. Topher J said, huge paper tiger. Got a gift from God with both Virginia and Purdue wins. And Wagner games shouldn't count. That said, take advantage of your fortune. Show the world you actually deserve the respect you've been given. So Topher says the same thing, right? Show that you deserve it. Show that you've actually earned it. And I think Syracuse football, I think the football team would laugh in your face if they read these. And hopefully they're not reading these because it's disrespectful. But, you know, again, if Syracuse wasn't ranked, these would probably be the same fans saying, why aren't we ranked? We beat Virginia. We beat Purdue. We did this. We came back. And I don't know why people say, well, Purdue was a gimme, you know, like that was given to you. Virginia was given to you. Syracuse had to come back in both of those games and win those games. Syracuse teams of old wouldn't have come back. They would have folded. You talk about a paper tiger, they would have folded like paper, and they wouldn't have found a way to come back. I credit the defense. I credit Garrett Schrader. I credit the receivers. I credit Sean Tucker. I credit the offensive line. The plays that Syracuse made at the end of the Purdue and Virginia games to come back and win against Purdue 32-29 and Virginia 22-20. It wasn't always pretty, but gritty ain't always pretty. That's what I told Nate Hackett when his team won their first game with the Denver Broncos this year. I said, gritty ain't always pretty, right? And I love how people are complaining, oh, you know, those games were given to you. They were not given to you. I can promise you that Purdue and Virginia were not trying to come to Syracuse and hand their opponent a win. Why would Purdue want to give up a victory? Why would Virginia want to do that? Okay, did they make mistakes? Yeah. Did Syracuse make mistakes? Yeah. And at the end of the game, what team showed the most resolve, the most poise, and completed the game? It's not always how you start, it's how you finish. And Syracuse has finished well against these teams. So I think it's ridiculous to say games were handed to them, just like I think it's ridiculous when people said that Syracuse needs to write a letter to Michigan State head coach Tom Izzo and thank him for losing his game against Middle Tennessee State so Syracuse didn't have to play them, as if Syracuse couldn't compete. And and it's just, I don't know. It's, to me, it's just ridiculousness. And it just shows people that want to complain about anything. It's like, yeah, we're undefeated, but we suck. You know what I mean? And it doesn't even deserve a response. You know, and Alan said this team hasn't been tested yet, so there's a bunch of you know, there's some of you saying that. Francis said their season starts for the next 3 games. Guy said that they have now entered the gauntlet of the season with confidence. Yeah, so there you go. The gauntlet of the season with confidence. Okay? That's another way to look at it. That's a better way to look at it. So, you know, am I going to sit here and tell you that Purdue's better than Alabama? No, I'm not crazy. But I'm also not going to sit here and tell you that Syracuse only won games because somebody wrapped it in some nice paper and left it on their doorstep. I think that that's a ridiculous comment to make. But, you know, some people make ridiculous comments. So those are the same fans that would complain if Syracuse was losing. They complain when they're winning. So they complain no matter what. Complainers are complainers. That's what it is. And I don't hang around people that complain. So I can't. I know everybody has a day, right? Everybody has a day that's not great or a moment that's not great, and we can talk about it. But I'm a turn your frown upside down type of guy. I'm not the person that wants to sit there and listen to you tell me how horrible your life is, and then you do nothing to fix it or make it better. So Syracuse is ranked in the top 18 in the country in the AP and the coaches poll. They moved up 4 spots in the AP in their bye week, and they moved up 3 spots in the coaches poll in their bye week. Does it always make sense? Absolutely not. Has it happened? Absolutely it has. Are Syracuse fans seeing it happen to Syracuse for maybe the first time when it's been happening to the Big Ten for a long time? Yeah, but this is what happens, and Syracuse getting respect from the media, getting respect from the coaches, and now we're going to see if Syracuse can hold their own against one of the best coaches that I've ever had the opportunity of talking to, which is Dave Doran, who not only wins at NC State, but recruits NFL caliber talent and sends guys to the league, and not just to the league, but that make the team and become leaders on the team, arguably. So, big shout out to NC State, a fantastic opponent and a fantastic coach coming into town to face off against your Syracuse Orange. So, make sure you make your way out to the game. I want 40,000. They're telling me I'm finally going to get 40,000 after I've asked for it all season long. I don't know what any of you people were doing when these games were going on, but there's only a few home games left. There's Notre Dame on the 15th. There's NC State on the 15th, Notre Dame on October 29th, and on November 12th is Florida State. There's only 3 home games left. So get your tail to the Dome, pay for your ticket, get in. If you are able and you're capable of getting up that hill, then get up that hill and go to the game. Because a lot of these Syracuse fans, like in a lot of things in life that complain, they're people that have never seen something, kind of seen something, maybe walked out in the middle of something. But, you need to actually get yourself out to these games and spend some time in the Dome. Because if you're a real Syracuse fan, you'd be a little bit nicer to the team. You can be critical. You could say this is their biggest test of the season. I agree. But saying they don't deserve to be where they are, well, in that case, you can argue that about pretty much every team in the top 25. So, I'm proud of Syracuse. I'm happy for the guys. They've done a hell of a job. And I look at the Purdue and Virginia game as a team that was poised and came back and stayed focused and believed in themselves and had confidence when their back was against the wall and their heels were being dug and pushed backward. I see a team that had resolve, because I see the positivity in things. So, we'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, we will wrap up some thoughts on Syracuse. I want to thank the fans for sending your thoughts in. Keep sending that. And you just got put up here on Wake Up Call today, so a lot of you got shouted out. Congratulations. Thank you for putting your thoughts out here. We don't always have to agree, as some of us did not this morning, but always happy to share your thoughts. So, make sure you send those over to me. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT. Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. Make sure you're coming out to the Dome this weekend. I want 40K at least, and I want 99% of that to be in Orange. I know there's going to be some NC State fans there, but I want to show people what it's like to come to the Dome. So let's get that rocking this Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll take a step aside for a fast break inside the Cafe Kubal Studios. When we come back, you and I will have an opportunity to wrap up about Syracuse and get into On the Prowl with the Jacksonville Jaguars and my one-on-one conversations with the team coming off of Week 5.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicoli's.com. That's myavicoli's.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? to be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Travel Cafe Kubal Studios. Folks, I'm happy to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And today we're doing a little bit shorter of a broadcast, but still giving you a full feel of it. We got Syracuse Part 1, Jaguars Part 2, and obviously getting to all of our fantastic partners in Central and Upstate New York, including Cafe Kubal. Cafe Kubal, located on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse. You can also go to 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and that the drive-through location on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners. Make sure you head out there today. A.K.A. Cruz Jr., a.k.a. offensive lineman for Syracuse. And let's see some of his thoughts here. Chris Heidel, shout out to Chris. He's got his show and doing an awesome job. I've been there live for them on Tuesday nights, I think Tuesday, Wednesday. Chris, so thank you for all the work that you've done over the years. If Syracuse beat the Irish at home, then you have a special season. Man, I think if they beat NC State, it's pretty special. I had a dream that Syracuse defeated NC State. I had this dream days ago before I went to New York City, that Syracuse beat NC State and we're 6-0, and it was like looking out from this mountain on the rest of the season going like, okay, like already bowl eligible, now 6 games to, continue to move up and get better. So big shout out to that. Shout out to Mom. Good morning, Mom. Got the best mom in the world. Williams said, a lot of people talk crap because they never played sports a day in their life. They just don't know what it is. They just talk what they hear. This is what they will say. Well, wait till they play Clemson when we beat NC State and then still say they didn't beat a good team. People kill me with this stuff. Yeah, man, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. There's people always find the next thing to complain about, though certain people, not the people that I hang out with. Mom said, living the life. Yes, I'm very happy. Worked very hard for this. And then William said the Syracuse tailgate's back on for NC State. Well, Isaac and I will be there getting some homemade sangria, And I don't really drink that much. I just got to, that was like some sweet syrup of goodness. And I love being around, being part Hispanic and part Italian. I love my culture. And being, and also to the fact that we might have some family in the Sudan as well, and to learn about that culture. And so I love everything about my blood. And being Hispanic and being around different Hispanic-speaking cultures, people from Puerto Rico and in different places and whatnot. What I love is when Isaac and I were at the Syracuse tailgate, they're like, you want a shot? And we were like, no, we're good. And then 10 minutes later, here comes Mom going, got a shot because Dan said he wanted one. And I was just like, oh my goodness. But, I've seen that more than once in my life, and I appreciate, love the hospitality. The Syracuse tailgate, you got a great family of people there. Some of the nicest people that I've gotten to meet in my travels and in my path here with doing what I love and loving what I do. So God is great, puts good people in front of you, great people in front of you, and appreciate what you got when you got it. Chris said, Dan, you sound good on my way to work, my friend. I hope to see you November 12th for the Florida State game. Yeah, man, I hope you're coming up, and would love to see you too. Go bring you out to one of these nice restaurants here in Central and Upstate New York that I'm very proud to work with, and we'll get you that Central and Upstate New York experience, which doesn't get the credit that it deserves. And thank you for telling me I sound good on the way to work, man. I always appreciate talking with you and hearing your show as well. So much love. Rob Draker went to school with this man, graduated in 2003 from Christian Brothers Academy. He said, "Hey, Dan, listening in, hope you're doing well." Yeah, man, I hope you are too. And I'm doing very well. So God bless to you, and I hope you're well, hope the family's well, and hope you're living your dreams too, man. Would be great to catch up with you. So hope everything is going well on your end. So yeah, Syracuse, listen, 18th in the polls, great stuff here. Isaac and I will dig deeper into some of these things, but to take a look at the polls right now before we jump into the Jaguars conversation, I mean, seeing Syracuse where they are right now, this is a beautiful thing, right? Who would have thought at the beginning of the season Syracuse would be ranked at all, especially being ranked, in the top 20, top 18, right? So, NC State has worked their way to that. Wake Forest has worked their way to that. Obviously, Clemson is a part of that. We've seen North Carolina, creep in with the second coming of Mac Brown into some of this. So, it's been pretty special. Pittsburgh getting up there. Miami was ranked high this year, hasn't really shown out. So you talk about that, though, right? Miami was ranked high, and what have they done to prove that it should be? Where Syracuse wasn't ranked at all, and they've earned and worked their way into the rankings. So I think the people that say they haven't earned it yet aren't really paying attention. I want to shout out James Madison, who, there's a lot of teams moving up from Division I AA to Division 1A or Division II to Division 1 in this realignment and reclassification. James Madison has not only moved up into Division 1A FBS, but James Madison is now ranked in the nation's top 25 in the AP poll, with the media bringing them in at 25 with a record of as well at 5-1 on the season. Neither of these teams are ranked up down a spot, going undefeated against unranked teams. Can't believe that they actually move them down. Typically, they move them up for doing nothing. USC has moved down a spot. Oklahoma State did as well. Penn State didn't move. Ole Miss didn't move. UCLA came up up 7 spots to 11th in the AP, and they went up 7 spots to be 12th in the coaches poll. So Wake Forest, so if you look at the grand scheme of things here, Clemson is 4th in the nation in the ACC. Wake Forest, and this is the AP. So Clemson is 4th in the AP, 5th in the coaches poll. And then Wake Forest is 14th in both polls. NC State is 15 in the AP, 13 in the coaches poll. And then Syracuse is the next ranked team in the 14 schools that are ranked in the top 25. And Syracuse is one of them. What do I think of it? I think that it's funny when a team moves up in a bye week. However, it's not like they gave it to Syracuse and didn't give it to anybody else. They've been giving it to a bunch of teams around the country for a long time. Syracuse is now the, on the positive side of it. But great to see Syracuse in, the top 18 in the nation. Now, you got some huge games coming up, right? You got NC State, who's ranked above you. You got Clemson, who's ranked above you. You got Wake Forest, who's ranked above you. You got Florida State, who was ranked. You got Notre Dame, who was ranked. So, they got a gamut, right? They got a gamut to go through. And you got Boston College still on the schedule, too. And, BC's a pain in the tush. So there's some really, really good games coming up. And I'm really excited to see what Syracuse can do. And like I said earlier this season, I said, as someone who's born and raised in Syracuse, New York, and has been around this team most of my life, I would tell you pretty much all my life, I want Syracuse to go 12-0. As a broadcaster, I thought they'd go 5-7. And I think a lot of people probably were right there with me, if not a game or two above or below, right? I said I think 4-8 to 6-6. I think 6-6 is their ceiling, so I put them at 5-7. And I said I hope they prove me wrong. And so far, they got the 5 wins that I had prognosticated, and now they have a huge, huge rest of the season. They got 7 games against really, really good and strong teams, and we're going to see where Syracuse ends up at the end of all of this. But I'm very much hopeful and excited to see it, and this team has done more in front of my face than I thought they would do this season. So I'm already super proud of the guys, and they know I love them. They know I care about them beyond football. So God bless to them for that. We're going to take our final step aside of today's broadcast. When we come back on Wake Up Call, it's On the Prowl time inside of monpazpopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. We're going on the prowl, and you're going to get my one-on-one conversations with Jacksonville Jaguars running back James Robinson, wide receiver Christian Kirk, who are joining the show for the first time ever. Kicker Riley Patterson, who's joining the show for the first time ever. And I did cover his team at Memphis, but this is the first time him and I are having a one-on-one. And Evan Engram will rejoin the show, tight end for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's all coming up on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios right after this fast break where sports truly meets that thing called life. Thanks for hanging out with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And as we are getting ready and getting set to go to Disney and do Diz with Dan, the show will be a little bit shorter today, but you're getting a full effect, plenty of interviews, Syracuse and Jacksonville conversation, all the stuff you'd expect on a Monday from us, you're getting. So thank you for being here. We'll take a step aside. We'll be back right after this.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jim Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the Whole Frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Syracuse, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus.
This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. You know, they can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York. Coming to you, fall 2022.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cabal Studios, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. And we are down here, Wake Up Call on the road. You know the hashtags, Wake Up Call on the road, Wake Up Call everywhere, and the hashtag abbreviation, Wake Up Call OTR for on the road. We are down here in the Sunshine State. That's why you see the beach. That's why you see the sand and the trees and the beautifulness and just awesome palm trees here at Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cabal Studios. So we've had the opportunity to talk about Syracuse in the top 18, a discussion that we'll have throughout the week about this Syracuse team as we get set for their big-time matchup, midday matchup on Saturday, October 15th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I know some of you probably wanted 7 o'clock, and it would have made a lot of sense, but 3:30 is when Syracuse is going to be facing off against NC State two top 18 ranked teams in the nation. Syracuse 18 in both polls, NC State 15 in the AP, 13 in the coaches poll. So big time game coming up, and you can be sure there's a lot coming up here on Wake Up Call to discuss it. Now it's time to jump into MonPopcorn.com's What's Poppin' Part 2 of today's broadcast. On the Prowl, you know the Jaguars coverage. It's telling stories. It's bringing you a different angle and different sides to the Jacksonville Jaguars. One-on-one conversations with the team in this segment that we call On the Prowl. And my first conversation coming to you today is going to be featuring the running back of the Jacksonville Jaguars, that being Mr. James Robinson. As I had the other running back, Travis Etienne Jr., he joined the show after the first home game of the season. Now after the second home game, we have James Robinson on the broadcast here, where sports meets that thing called life. So without further ado, it is my honor and my privilege to share with you James Robinson in our conversation on the Prowl.
Obviously, this is a tough one. Field goals back and forth, and then that late game score by Pierce. Just what your thoughts are coming out of that one?
We didn't do anything that we said we were going to do. We didn't execute. Weren't doing anything, and kind of just gave it away.
You say we didn't do anything that we set out to do. What would you say is the reason why it just didn't
plan? We didn't execute it really how we should have. I mean, that's pretty much the biggest thing. And we had some penalties we shouldn't have had. So, you got to work to get better on that stuff.
This one obviously stings twice because it's in division. How do you kind of let this thing go as quick as you can?
Go on, watch film, and go on about the day. You can't do nothing about it now. I mean, it's going to hurt even more. You keep trying to figure out, I could have did this and did this. No, can't do that. So can't fix it now. Just got to move on. We got 6 more division games. So, I mean, we still come out on top on this. So.
Coach Peterson, after the game, what were his words that maybe lasted with you as you move forward?
Basically, he just said this isn't us, really, and we're all upset about the loss. So, really, not much to say. We gave the game away. It's unacceptable.
Trevor obviously has done a lot to lead this team. There was some tough plays toward the end of the game, some underthrows, some overthrows, but he's obviously been a leader for you guys. What can you say about who he is beyond this game?
He's a great quarterback. He made some great plays. Everyone on the offense made some great plays. I think the thing is we just got to be able to, after a big play, make another one. We can't have these big plays and have a penalty, then have another big play, and then just lose yards on plays. I think the biggest thing is just being able to keep it going. I think that's our biggest thing. We'll have a big play, and after that.
That coming from James Robinson, the running back of the Jacksonville Jaguars, once again here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, in this segment, which we call On the Prowl, in my coverage of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So always appreciate having James on the broadcast. And next up here, I appreciate having the Jaguars on the broadcast, I should say. Having James for the first time is a true honor. And now it's time to hear from Christian Kirk for the first time ever on Wake Up Call, as he gives his thoughts on the game, as Christian Kirk here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, and thankful to have him on the broadcast as well, wearing lucky number 13, my grandfather's number.
Well, obviously this is a tough one to give away, and James Robinson just said this was on us. We gave this game away. Do you feel that way as well?
I didn't think we played our best, but they came out and they were the better team today. They executed better than us, and simple as that. And we didn't execute on anything that we wanted to do. And I said it before, and it'll always go this way. If you don't do those things in the NFL, you won't win football games. So they were the better team today, and we got to get to work and get better.
In a game like this where it is so frustrating, it's field goals back and forth and really quiet until that Dameon Pierce touchdown toward the end. How do you look back on a game like this knowing that there was really no time where the offense got going?
Yeah, it's just tough, and so there's definitely a lot of mistakes by us offensively, and as a team and as a whole. And so that's something that, we got to take a look at and just get better. It's not to our standard. And so tomorrow, we're going to be hard. We're going to be critical on ourselves. And, like you said, it's tough, when there's field goals being kicked and, you're decently moving the ball and then you stall either in the red zone or, get to the third downs, can't convert. Just never really got into a rhythm. So, like I said, just something we need to go back and look at and try to move on from.
You said that this game isn't the Jaguars standard. How would you define the Jaguars standard this season?
Well, our expectation is championship level football, and I know anything less than the playoffs is not on our agenda. That's what we work towards. That's our first goal, and so that's the level of standard and way we come in and work every single day in and day out. And so when we're not at that standard, it stings. You put that stuff out there on tape. It's not us, and so we got to check ourselves and we got to get back to work and try to get 1 week better.
I know that stings right after the game, but how do you not let this beat you any longer than today?
Because the NFL, it's a long season. We still have a lot of games left to be played, and we still have an opportunity to find out who we want to be as a team. And so, it's times like this, times of adversity, where we really get to find out, what type of team we want to be, how we're going to bounce back. The Colts aren't going to, let up on us. They're not going to feel bad for us, for what happened today. They're ready to beat us too. And so we got to come out and we got to match the intensity, and it starts with, our work this week.
You came into the season as a Cardinal and obviously came over in the offseason to the Jaguars. Are there any similarities or differences from being in that locker room in Arizona?
This locker room is just unique in itself. I know we have the type of guys to get it done, and, we have the type of characters, we have the type of leaders. And so, just really focusing in on these guys and just, like I said, figuring out who we want to be, as a team. And, I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm happy to be a part of it. And I know we're going to come through on the other side of it.
Lastly, Trevor Lawrence obviously has done a lot to lead this team today. There was some overthrows, some underthrows. Mm-hmm. Just what you can say about Trevor beyond this game.
Yeah, he's great. He's mature. He's his own toughest critic. And so none of us coaches, need to tell him, he knows that how good he wants to be, how great he wants to be. And so that's why I never worry about him. His approach will never waver. The guy just wants to work to be the best. And so I know he's going to be critical on himself, and he's going to, take another step, this next week and, get better and put the team in the best position to win.
That coming from wide receiver Christian Kirk here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Travel Cafe Kubal Studios as we continue on the prowl here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Next up is tight end of the team, Evan Engram, here with us. He had a big catch in this game on one of the drives to try and get the Jaguars into the red zone. Evan Engram and Dan Arnold both getting involved here and doing some good things. And Evan Engram is back here on the show with me to give his thoughts on this game and moving forward. And this is what Evan had to say.
Well, obviously not the way that you want to end a game, and this game was frustrating offensively. How do you look? I know you're going to look at film after this game, but right off the bat, first thoughts from looking back on this game.
We just got finished better, a lot better. We got in the red zone multiple times. We just didn't finish. We had a turnover. We had some penalties along the way. Just got finished better as an entire group, as an entire offensive group.
When you say you got to finish better, obviously that's within your control. What was happening out there that you felt like it just wasn't clicking?
Everything was clicking until when we got in the red zone. We missed some blocks, missed some throws. The details weren't how they're supposed to be to execute in that part of the field, and that's where our points come from. You can be as great as you want to be all down the field. When you get in the red zone, you don't execute every little detail. That's what happens.
Speaking with Christian Kirk, he said this game isn't the Jaguars' standard. How would you describe the standard of this team?
This game, not even close. We played our standard. Not even close. Just how hard we work, the things that we prioritize, and the way we envision ourselves playing football for 60 minutes was not today. We've showed that. We've showed that style of who we are in the past. and it just wasn't it today.
Finally, Trevor Lawrence obviously had some underthrows, some overthrows today. He's been a leader for you guys. Beyond this, what can you say about him? Because this is one game, but what can you say about him as a leader?
Number one, we all can be better. Obviously, he's a quarterback, and he's, all the lights on him. We all can be better, and we all can be better for him. And he knows that he has things to get better at too. But he knows that, and he's pissed off right now. And this one stings for all of us. So we're going to get right back to it tomorrow and fix it. And it's just we all learn from it. It's something that obviously it sucks, and we wish it didn't happen, but it's going to be something we learn from, something that we grow from going from here.
Coming from Evan Engram, the tight end, a lot of great words there, a lot of words of wisdom coming from Evan Engram. And speaking about Trevor Lawrence and saying, hey, listen, we can all grow from stuff. He knows where he needs to work. We know where we need to work, and we're going to have to correct it. We're going to correct it. We're going to step forward here. And just looking at the fact that, that these guys are saying, hey, we're better than this, right? And I've been in this Jaguars locker room for over a decade. So to hear the conversation, the mentality, and the championship mentality that this team has is a change from what I've heard in other years in Jacksonville. And so I'm happy to hear that. And speaking of happy to hear, I'm very happy to, be able to share this with you so that you can hear my conversation with Riley Patterson, kicker on the team for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They've been going through kickers like nobody's business over the last couple of years, and they just brought in Riley Patterson. He made 2 field goals in this game to bring the 6-6 tie. First one on the scoreboard was Jacksonville, thanks to Riley Patterson's leg and 26-yard field goal that he had to start off the game to put him up 3-0. Riley Patterson and I have a conversation here today that I am very excited, like I said, to share with you inside the Cafe Kubal studios as I covered his team inside of the American Athletic Conference. I covered the Memphis Tigers when he was kicking there, and now we finally get to talk one-on-one, and this is what he had to say.
This was one of those field goal games back and forth for the majority of the game. You did your job and did what you had to do. How do you look back on a game like this where it really just came down to what team was going to break that plane at the end?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's all everybody making sure they do their own job. And our coaches know what they're doing. Our players know what they're doing. We just need to make sure, we individually are present in whatever situation we're in. Not trying to do too much, not trying to do less, just make sure everybody does their part, and we just got to trust the process that it will turn into wins, I feel. That's just kicker spot.
What is it about this game that this team as a whole can kind of take and look at? Because obviously everybody is frustrated. This is one where your teammates were like, this isn't the standard of Jacksonville. So how would you describe the standard?
Well, just getting here, it seems like everyone works their butt off, man. Everyone works really hard and cares a lot about this. It seems like we expect to win when we go out there, and it seems like we got a really good team. And again, just trusting that process that it will turn into wins. And it seems like this is a winning culture. But, it seems like it has been here for a little bit, and for me, what I've seen so far, it seems like a turn. So it's exciting. I love being here. It's a great energy. But at the end of the day, got to win games.
Bring me into your trail from Memphis, because it's been an interesting one through the NFL.
Yeah. So I got undrafted to the Vikings. I got injured there, and I got surgery, and then I got let go. Went back home for a little bit, recovered, ended up doing a whole tryout circuit, went to New England on practice squad about 4 or 5 weeks, and then went to Detroit and played there at the very end. And very long, a lot of hotels, but it's just God's blessings, man. Met so many really cool people. There's so many. The NFL is full of a lot of amazing people, and it frustrates me to see when people think that football players are jerks, because I've met very, very few that are, and including this team, I can't think of one person that isn't a good person on this team. So it's been really unique and special.
So the call to come to Jacksonville, bring me into that, how you ended up here.
Yeah, well, got cut by Detroit. I was very upset. Really wanted to be there, and that was a good spot. I was very lucky to be there, but even luckier to be here. Very thankful to get picked up off waivers and right away start, and that's a blessing. That's rare, and I'm just thankful to be here. I'm trying to, take it game by game, but it's cool to be on a good team, a winning team, with a really good specialist like Logan and Ross and the rest of the guys on his team on the special teams unit. So Heath's a great coach, Luke is great as well, and Coach Pearson's awesome. So it seems like I lucked out into a great situation, and I'm just very thankful.
The Jaguars have been through a lot of kickers recently. So how do you define what kind of needs to be done to stick around? It's a very tough job to get, and it's an even tougher job arguably to keep. So how do you stick around here?
For making your kicks, like
Pretty
it's I'm a man of faith, so I compare it kind of like to Christianity, and Christianity is a big part, obviously, for me in my kicking. It's like, well, Christianity it's not like overcomplicated. I think it's very simple. You have faith, you love God, you go to heaven, and you give Him all your heart. And if you make your kicks, then you do well. So try not to overcomplicate it. Just take it day by day, game by game, practice by practice, and then hopefully by the end of the season you're very happy with how it went. I try and stay very present, looking too far ahead. For me, in the past, that hurt me in games. So I try and just go kick by kick, extra point by extra point. Every warm-up kick, each its own. So that's my mindset at least.
And I want to finish with that because I'm a very strong person of faith myself, and we put it into the show. I don't hide that, and you don't either, which I respect. So what can you say about what faith has meant to you and how it directs your life?
Well, faith is my life. This is my career, but I feel like it's not my job.
Yeah, I get that.
Our job is to make disciples of all nations, including not only of this nation, but in each county, in each town, and kind of pouring our heart out to wherever we are, and being ambassadors of Christ. And that's something that I pride myself in, and I think that's the priority in my life. I try to, at least. I mess up very often, just like kicking, you mess up. But, thank God we have salvation and we have faith in God, and He loves and has mercy and grace for us. So I've been blessed to be here. I'm very thankful to be here, and God has just blessed me all on this entire journey, and He's shown me so many great people and along the way, especially in Memphis. So it's been a blessing.
That coming once again from Riley Patterson here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I had the opportunity to speak with Riley when we finished up this past game this weekend here as as Jacksonville went up against the Houston Texans. Finally got to talk with Riley one-on-one, but have been covering Riley for a long time because obviously been covering the Memphis Tigers for since their institution into the American Athletic Conference. So great to finally talk to Riley. I thought it was interesting because I saw that he was in the NFL, and I had reached out to him to talk with him, and then he wasn't in Jacksonville yet. He was with another team, as he had spoken about, and then he ended up in Jacksonville. So it's like I was trying to get to him, and then God brought us together. It was like I was trying to reach out to him wherever he was, and then he brought us to literally the same place and the same time, which was really, really cool. So, for those of you that don't believe in God or don't believe God can do things like that, bring it all together and make it all. So, shout out to God, and a big thanks to Riley Patterson for his time, as well as Christian Kirk, James Robinson, and Evan Engram. We have a one-on-one with Andre Cisco that's going to be airing this week as well, as Andre Cisco rejoins the show, so a lot of great stuff. But I want to thank you for being a part of the show today. Down here, Wake Up Call OTR, hashtag Wake Up Call OTR, Wake Up Call on the road, Wake Up Call everywhere. We're down in the great state of Florida, our second home. Every Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time is when you're watching and listening to Wake Up Call, including today from Florida, youtube.com, facebook.com, and mixlr.com, all /Wake Up Call DT, as well as on facebook.com /Live Now DT and wakeupcalldt.com. homepage. A Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeart, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Podbean, Podvine, Player FM, TuneIn, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Thanks to our partners, Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Witty Wicks, PB&J's Lunchbox, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Avicoli's, Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Pizza Man, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Honda City of Liverpool, Chick-fil-A Watertown, Mother's Cupboard, and more. And, of course, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It is Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and in the exclusive series of realignment and reclassification. If we're talking realignment and reclassification, it is coming through Wake Up Call first and foremost, and we have done that for over almost half a year now that we've been doing this in conversations with Athletics Director Bob Beretta, as well as President of Lemoyne, Dr. Linda Lemura. You can check out all of our content on the Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com. You can also get all of our Lemoyne content by subscribing to our YouTube channel on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Once you're there, search our Lemoyne content, and for more information on the Dolphins, go to LemoyneDolphins.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryant and Stratton Bobcats of Syracuse. The Bobcats love Bryant and Stratton, everything we've got to do with Bryant and Stratton already up to this point, not even a year into working together. Appreciate having the Bobcats here with us, so make sure you check them out by going to the BSC Syracuse tab on wakeupcalldt.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And, of course, we have had the opportunity to be on site on location with the Bobcats at PB&J's Lunchbox on 6630 Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York, at Mother's Cupboard on 3709 James Street in Syracuse, New York, at multiple Cafe Cubal locations, 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse, 324 West Water Street in Syracuse, and, of course, on site at their James Street campus for Bryant and Stratton. So make sure you check out all of our content and all the buzz going around Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse with our specials with the inaugural baseball team, men's and women's soccer, men's and women's basketball. Great stuff coming up, and always look forward to talking to your Bobcats. Get more information at syracuse.bscbobcats.com. And I want to thank you for being a part of today's show from the Sunshine State. We ended last week Wake Up Call OTR on the road in New York City. And we're starting off this week on the road in Florida. So we went from the skyline of New York City that looked beautiful to the beaches, the sands and the palm trees and beautiful skies and the clear water of the great state of Florida. And I would be wrong to not end the show by saying to everyone in the great state of Florida, including everybody in Fort Myers and where it was hit the hardest, that I pray for you. I'm here for you. And if you need me, let me know. What can I do with my hands? What can I do to donate? What can I do to help? Florida is a beautiful place. Every place has its beauty. Florida is one of those places. And I love my second home. It's a second home personally. It's my second home of the show professionally and of everything we do with Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. There are many people that are close with me that are part of my family here in the great state of Florida. Many people to pray for when everything was going down here recently. So whoever needs help, reach out, and let's do what we can to help you get back on your feet. God is great. I hope no lives were lost. Anybody that has passed on, I hope is safe and sound in heaven, and their loved ones safe and sound here on earth, and all connected through you, God, because dying you destroyed our death, and rising you restored our life. And for everything else that needs to be repaired, may they have the money to do it, the time to do it, the energy to do it, and the help that is needed. I'm here to help as well. So God, make me a shepherd of your peace. Make me an instrument of your love. And to wonderful, incredible, incredibly driven and strong and vibrant and resilient people of Florida, I love you. There's a reason why you're called the Sunshine State. It's because you bring happiness and brightness and smiles to us all over the world. So keep smiling, keep shining. And to quote one of my favorite songs, and know that we can count on each other. God bless you. I love you, Florida. And I'm always, always with you. Let me know how I can help. Big thanks to everybody that weighed in their thoughts on Syracuse football. Big thanks to On the Prowl features with running back James Robinson for the first time ever. Christian Kirk, wide receiver, for the first time ever having him on the show. Having Evan Engram, tight end of the Jaguars, back, and having Riley Patterson finally on the show here, kicker for the Jaguars, after covering him at Memphis. I hope you all have a great day. Find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. And I always leave you with 3 things that if you live your life by these, I think you'll have a pretty good life. God bless Remember there is a God. Remember that God has blessings. Appreciate them, see them, and don't overlook them when they come to you. No stress. Easier said than done, but try and keep stress out of your life. It only kills. It never breeds life. It only takes life. So have no stress. To the best of your ability, have no stress. Breathe it through. And do your best, because anybody that truly loves you and anything that's come from God, your best is going to be more than good enough to get the job done. So, God bless, no stress, do your best. I'll talk to you soon. Be well, everybody. From the Sunshine State, we love you. We'll talk with you soon.